Hello, I'm Toycat and welcome back to the second channel video. So recently I redrew the entire world borders in Microsoft Paint. My goal was to do what any British person does when we draw lines around the world and to ignore ethnic lines in a deeply offensive way, and I feel like I did a good enough job in a lot of places, but not enough Europeans were offended in response to that video. And honestly, we couldn't pay much attention to Europe because it's such a small part of the world, something I intend to fix today, because here is a map of Europe. I'm going to be redrawing the borders in such a way that everyone is offended, and hopefully along the way you'll learn how to offend your favorite local European ethnicity. Because you know what, as fun as it is to go through the list of ethnic slurs and try and find the ones that do apply to Macedonians or the Finnish people, you know what's going to be way more fun? It's going to be way more fun to show them this map and to show them who's boss. So let's redraw Europe, and let's start by taking a peek at my home country, because as you all know, I'm from the United Kingdom, and you know, part of the United Kingdom, I'm pretty sure, is this island over here. I'm pretty sure this is where Scotland is, so we'll place Scotland there accurately. You know, we'll have to size this down a little bit. Gonna have some smaller text because it's a small island. Scotland is famous for being a pretty small island that's very close, you know, to England. So I guess if that's Scotland over there, then this must be England. Yeah, this big island must be. Yeah, actually, wait, no. This England's up here. That was a silly mistake. This is England up here, if I'm not mistaken. And then I guess that makes this down here, this big thing. I guess the whole island is called the Isle of Wight. So I guess we'll go with that. Isle of Wight. So there we go. That's the division of the UK. And obviously, even though the UK is like a country, it's a country of countries. So there's like a border somewhere along there between England and the Isle of Wight. I'm pretty sure, you know, to cross over there, there's like some boats or whatever. So there's got to be a physical border separating them. So I'm pretty sure that's how the UK works. I mean, I live in England. I would know. Am I right? Or do I? Who knows for sure? I apparently live in the Isle of Wight now. But you know where I don't live? I don't live in that newfangled place that some people call Spain. This is Spain over here. We all know that. There's no disputing it. We can't sarcastically claim that Spain isn't over here. I mean, that would be very silly, of course. But, you know, Spain, if I'm not mistaken, doesn't take up all of the Iberian Peninsula. There's actually, like, a big section of it over here somewhere. And if I'm not mistaken, Portugal is, like, a rectangular country in Eastern Europe. So this is Portugal. Unrelated, by the way. So if I'm not mistaken, this over here is Portugal. I mean, like, if you look at the GDP per capita figures of Portugal, I mean, it's clear they're an Eastern European country. And if this is Spain, as I'm pretty sure it is, that's where people go to get far too drunk on planes, then what's this then? If that's, you know, over here, this must be Gibraltar. I'm pretty sure that's where Gibraltar is. Have we nailed that? I think we have. So everyone loves it when you call that. Also, yeah, this is a pretty good representation so far, but I think we're missing a few key countries. Like there's a clear gap in the continent where things are meant to be, and it's now that I realize, oh yeah, France. France is you know, a hexagon, if I'm not mistaken, which means that it's meant to look something like, okay, this is vaguely a hexagon here, and that means it goes inwards over here, and then it goes like inwards over here. Yeah, that's how hexagons look like, right? It's not a regular hexagon, it's an irregular hexagon, because I mean, you can't have France without having Switzerland, the almighty country, which is looks something like that. It's got so, honestly, we're gonna need the pencil tool for this, because Switzerland has some of the more messy borders in Europe. It's just, you know, they don't care about your rules about how borders should be. They just kind of exist. So that is Switzerland with a little thumbs up over there. See, this is why I use the text tool. Switzerland. Oh no, wait, sorry, it's Swaziland. Yeah, that's Switzerland is the country in South Africa that just changed its name to Eswatini. So that's Switzerland. Yeah, as you can see, my handwriting, very good. People often compliment me on it. So that makes this France over here. You know, we can't pretend this isn't France, which I'm also gonna draw, just because, you know, oh, French looks like this to me, so why can't I look like this to France? And if that's France over there, then clearly over here is over here is like Luxembourg, right? That's gotta be Luxembourg. But if Luxembourg's there, that means Germany is somewhere nearby here. But the problem with Germany being nearby here is I know Germany borders Switzerland. So I'm pretty sure this is loosely Germany, right? There we go. That's a German shape. Germany is famously a box, if I'm not mistaken. So let's write Germany over there. Oh wait, it's Germany, if I'm not mistaken, because you never want to ignore the O pronunciation. So that's there's my favorite country, and famously, an interesting fact you might not know is Germany had this big war with this like what used to be a former country to the north, and they got most of the Jutland Peninsula. So it looks like that. It's a nice little wholesome. It's like a cake with a candle coming out the top of it. That's how I remember Geromany, because you're like, wow, Geromany candles are on the cake. One is the number of candles on the cake. That's Geromany. How Geromany? You know what? This makes a lot of sense. But you know what else makes a lot of sense? The fact that there's actually this place that a lot of people think is inside Germany. It's really embarrassing because it's not. But there's this country over here where, a lot of famous people who, like the one famous German who maybe did a lot of bad things at the start of the last century. I'm pretty sure he lives somewhere over here in Bavaria. Again, it's a lot of people think it's part of Geromany, but it's actually not. It's its own independent place. Also, we can't talk about offensive borders without mentioning the over here. There's this country that for some reason everyone denies the existence of. It's one of those jokes like, you know what? How sure are we that one town in Germany exists? Have you ever seen the Twin Towers? Bet you haven't. Therefore, conspiracy. That's what the 9/11 conspiracy is. But this region right here is Kosovo. This whole giant area. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong about this because people deny its existence, and technically I've never been. But there is, we're gonna need the pencil tool for this because this is a messy international border, huh? So yeah, it looks something like that. That is Kosovo. It's actually one of the greatest countries in Europe. People are always saying, man, I love Europe, but I just wish there was more Kosovo. Invade me, Kosovo. Dad. Yeah, that's what people are saying. They're like, man, I just wish Kosovo could be more legitimate. And you know what? They did a pretty good job of it. Also, therefore, it'd be remiss of us not to mention that nearby there is this whole stretch of coastline. As we all know, coastline in Europe belongs to Croatia. So this right here is Croatia. However, there's this big city, not too far away from there. There's this big. I don't know what the what the city itself is called, Zagreb or something like that. But it's in this great country called Yugoslavia. It's a really successful little union that's existed there for a little time. I think it's going really well. It's a shame Yugoslavia and Kosovo don't get along too well these days. But it's all good otherwise. And then also, it'd be remiss for us not to mention that, you know what? Since we're here anyway, there's this big thing over here that people just get wildly confused with. Again, it's easy to. I see why. It looks like Geromany on a map, but it's actually Soviet Russia. This is where all the Russians come from, and I'm pretty sure, right? It's that big country from the Eastern Bloc. Famously that's Russia. But there's also obviously while we're here anyway, there's this big one over here. You'll always spot it on a map. It's huge. Ukraine is this giant country. It really encompasses all of Europe. But the shame about Ukraine is that it doesn't have this this one little territory that I think they do well with. I think this Russian territory, they should maybe invade or take it one day. But for now at least, this little island right here does belong to Russia. Sadly, one day maybe they can fix that. But otherwise, I know Ukraine is just a huge country. But also, what else is a huge country? This thing right here. There's if I'm not mistaken, there's this big group of Muslim-speaking countries, and we all know all the Muslims in Europe are Turkish. So Turkey famously ends right here. There's no European part of Turkey. That's just a fact. Turkey is entirely in Asia, and all of this right here is Turkey. Did you know Turkey, the country, is named after Turkey the bird? Because British traders went over there, saw people with their turkey the birds. They're like, wow, these people sure are turkeys. Sounds like a joke, but it's actually true. And in a video like this, you have to Google that to verify, because, it sounds pretty wacky otherwise, right? So, yeah, we're missing out some pretty key countries here. We're missing Estonia. This is where all those potato people are from. Actually, all of the Baltic countries have this, greater, they've all got potato memes about them, but this one is Estonia, which is, if you're curious as to why it's called that way, it's because it's to the very east of Europe. They love when you tell them their origin story. They're like, we are Estonians. We are very proud of our Eastern culture. And that's how they speak, every single one of them. They've got very heavy Soviet accents because sadly, they really wanted to be in the Soviet Union, but, they were kicked out. They They were forced to leave. They were sad about it. That's the story. You got to tell them. They're called Estonia because they're east, and they were kicked out against their will. They really loved being in the Soviet Union, and they even picked up the accents. They've even got some KGB towers in their country. But you know what? We're missing some pretty key places in Europe, so it's got to be worth mentioning that right over here, this little place right here, it's a very small country, but it's the birthplace of democracy, and way more famously, it's where baklava comes from. So you got to mention, when you look at a map, this right here is Greece. As you can see, it's very well known. But yeah, the country that I think is most successful in the region is this thing right here, this North Macedonia. The people who live in North Macedonia, they're really, really happy about how much they're the birthplace of Alexander the Great. I mean, all of the great things that you know about freedom and about the Sparta Wars, etc. They're about North Macedonia. Like, sometimes people think wrongly it's Greece, but it's all about North Macedonia, really. Also, another country people forget is another M country is Malta. This little this island right here. Some people incorrectly label it. You might think in this video we're making a lot of jokes, but we can't joke about Malta and its true position in this island over here. But then we're forgetting about, like, wait a minute, isn't there a country here? So there's there's actually two countries on this peninsula. There's the one with the pizza. The one with pizza. Oh, we're gonna have to spell that. Oh, there we go. The one with pizza. And then there's this country, I think it's just called, like, Milan or something like that. I guess now it's Milan and COVID, right? They're the two things you know about Northern Italy. It's like, it's where all the money is, but also where the COVID is. Again, like, everyone just knows it from the COVID stuff. So Milan and COVID. There we go. I'm pretty sure that's what they changed their name to. I don't know the state flag yet, but it's these are the two countries you're probably most familiar with from the region. Also, it'd be remiss for us not to mention, like, while we're in the Scandinavian region, I can't do you wrong, Scandinavians. I just can't. Like, I want to make some jokes about what territory is yours and what's not. There's a big border between this and Ukraine, by the way, because they're very serious about that. But, I just can't make jokes about Sweden. I love you too much. So let's throw Sweden on the map right now, shall we? This right here is Sweden. You gotta use two E's. It always seems like you should use two E's for Sweden, right? Because, someone's a Swede, but it's actually like they're a Swede about the thing. See, I'm not going to incorrectly spell Sweden. I value Sweden a lot. So what I'm also going to do is I'm going to make sure that before we miss anything else, because I love Norway a great deal, and that's why we're going to put it on the map, because Norway is all the way to the north. There's no way it could be anywhere else with a name like that, right? So if, Sweden's to the east, Norway's to the north. Do you know where, Finland must be? It doesn't exist. It's a myth. It's a conspiracy. But you know what isn't a myth and a conspiracy? Actually, this land right here, this land of the big cities, I think that's Minecraft. I think that's what they call the place. It's like a big sandbox experiment they're doing right there. While we're here, we've got to also, I can't believe we got all this way into the video and we missed out such a key country of Czechoslovakia. Oh god, that was embarrassing, right? That was real embarrassing. I can't believe we managed to make that mistake. Whew. And then there's, if I'm not mistaken, there's that one country of all the gypsies in it. So we'll throw that one on there too. And yeah, I think we did a pretty good job of labeling the map right here. Although actually, if I'm not mistaken, the border is a little bit more like this. Because yeah, that's a little bit more accurate. I know the Czechoslovakia has a lot of coastline. Czechoslovaks, such great people. And just before we finish, I have to mention that, like, for some reason, the map I decided to use, this stock map, put a random island up here. We all know there's no island up there. So let's just quickly remove that and give that a quick little infill in orange. Orange square rules over all of Europe. Yeah, I think we did. I think we've nailed all the countries down today. It's always important to mention there's a lot of territories. So, for instance, this is the island of Dalmatian right here with a D, and this is the island of Poodles with a P. This is where all the poodles in the world come from. It's a famous little fact you might not have known. Also, I've got to label everyone's favorite place, which is, I'll just do a little O there. We're good. So this is my map of Europe. As you can see, we got all the good countries. We labeled them perfectly clearly, and everyone should be pretty happy with where they are on this map. Like, okay, I know I goofed a little bit there when I pretended that, like, I pretended Czechoslovakia didn't have access to the coast for a little bit. That was a fun joke. That was a fun goof. I almost got everyone there. But otherwise, this is perfectly accurate. And if you explain this to anyone in any of these countries, they'll be pretty pleased with what you do have to show them. And I hope you all enjoyed this video because, as always, second channel, don't care. Tell me in the comments, actually, like, do you think I got anything wrong? Because I'm pretty sure we nailed this correctly. I'm pretty sure nothing went wrong here. But just in case you think there is an error, let me know in the comments. I'd love to see those. But yeah, hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.